it's much more of a two-way conversation. I mean, sure, you know, we used to get letters to the editor or, you know, people commenting on your stories, but it's much less of a conversation than you can have. I mean, one of the most powerful things we have now as individuals and as businesses is that we can literally communicate in real time with consumers, with the people who buy our products, and I mean that's a huge shift from the way that things were before.
What are the challenges with that real time? I feel like that there are. You were saying when curating and creating those stories, you have all the time. You have tons of time to put everything together, and with social media that's sort of much more real time, we have to be immediate, and people expect immediate responses.
Well, I think things move much faster, but at the same time, I think people are more forgiving. So, you know, because the reality is everyone's attention span has shortened. I mean, I used to write 8,000 word stories. I don't know that anybody takes the time to read 8,000 word stories anymore. But, you know, at the same time, we now have the ability with 140 characters to reach a much larger audience and have a much broader impact than we would have had with those 8,000 words. So the difference is it's much easier to write another 140 characters to correct or make amends for the one that maybe didn't go over so well.
Right. I think in terms of how traditional media has changed with social media. I mean, while I was going to journalism school, that kind of transition kind of went, and it's almost a game changer. I mean, you know, if something happens around the world to a person, and the name of the person is publicized, you can find that person in 2 seconds. I mean, most of the people, 50%, I think, it was 50% of the global population. That 50%, well, I mean, over 600 million on Facebook, and I think Twitter is at what now?
Well, I think Facebook now is
800.
Right.
Almost
Facebook.
900 million.
So I mean, everyone's on it, and it's so easy to contact people to ask questions. I mean, we run Size Doesn't Matter, and it's part of what every week we do interviews, right? I mean, Israeli celebrities are way easier because it's not the same culture as in North America. Just know that the status of celebrity is not the status of celebrity in Israel, right? You can't write Angelina Jolie and she's going to answer and say, "Hey, sure," right? But you can contact, Asi Azar, which is the co-host of Big Brother. You couldn't contact the co-host of Big Brother in Canada even, right? So Facebook creates a situation, and Twitter, right? Like I was tweeting with Sandra Bernard. I mean, where like 10 years ago, or how am I gonna talk with Sandra Bernard?
Who's Sandra Bernard again?
She's the comedian, right? Bernhardt, yeah. It's my francophone. Let's just say Bernard. That's my Israeli one. Right, so it's kind of a game changer, which I think is great. And as a journalist, were you on it, but not as yourself, but to contact people, or not even?
I mean, I used to find people through it, but I think that the other thing that's happened, is that essentially, like, because our notions of public and private have changed, and our notions of business and personal, like our notions of acceptability have changed as well. Like the boundaries have come down, and so I think that when Daneal was talking before about like that wanting to feel like she wasn't going to put anything out there until it had been perfected, I think that now people are much less concerned and much more forgiving